Welcome back to Across Louisiana. You know, there's a great organization here in the greater Baton Rouge area doing wonderful work in the community, and here to tell us all about it is Jill Garner with Manners of the Heart. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here today.
For the folks out there who might not be familiar and haven't heard about you, tell us a little bit about sort of how it came to be and what your mission is.
Manners of the Heart was founded about 15 years ago out of a deep desire in my heart to help the next generation be able to see beyond their circumstances and beyond themselves so they could become all that they were meant to be. So when we formed Manners of the Heart, our mission statement became helping the next generation to bring a return of respect and civility to our society. And we do that by equipping schools, encouraging families, and engaging communities in what we call heart education.
Well, and that's something that, you know, perhaps now more than ever is really needed in our society, right?
Oh, it certainly is. You know, for so long we have been totally obsessed with building self-esteem because we were told that was going to be the cure-all for all the problems in our society. And all the time we were this little bitty nonprofit screaming, no, 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 that's wrong, that's wrong. And unfortunately, people didn't hear us along the way, and now today we're living in the results of a self-esteem absorbed culture.
Right.
And what's happened is now, of course, there's a sense of entitlement, there's a selfishness, there's a greed in our society, unlike anything we've really experienced before. And that's really what we're combating, because it's not self-esteem that we needed in the first place, it's really self-respect.
Right.
And self-respect really comes from, first, a respect for others. So in our elementary curriculum, which is now in 15 schools here in EBR, we're in about 1,000 schools around the country.
Wow.
And here in EBR, we're in 15 schools, looking to be in an additional 15 schools next school year. Under the wonderful leadership of Warren Drake, who is a tremendous fan of our program. That's what we help the kids do, is we get them out of themselves and totally focused on others. The first song they learn is called Good Deeds.
Right.
And the end of the song says, I'll do the right thing for Wilbur, who is the mascot of our program, and I'll do the right thing for my teacher. And then the kids say, and you, and you, and you, and they point to each other, because we're teaching them to do the right thing, not because of what they're going to get for it,
right,
but because of who they're going to become.
I know you have an exciting event coming up that's going to enable you to keep doing this great work.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the gala.
We do. It is our Heart in Hand Awards event. It's going to be Friday night, February the 26th at the Rural Life Museum. Mr. Drake will be there, along with lots of special dignitaries and special guests. Wiza Wilbur will be there in his tuxedo, leading the charge with our children who are going to perform some of the teaching songs that they've learned in the curriculum.
Nice. We're
going to award the Manners of the Heart School of the Year, Educator of the Year, and the Volunteer of the Year award. And also, something really fun this year is we had a writing contest for our 4th and 5th grade students who do a lot of journal writing through our curriculum. And we gave them the opportunity to write their own original Maryville story, which is part of our curriculum in Maryville and all the children's stories. And so we have 2 winners, and they are going to share their very original Maryville story with all our audience that night.
Outstanding.
And as our MCs this year, we're so honored that we have the entire WAFB Morning Show crew. All 5 of them will be there also to kind of lead and be our MCs. So it's going to be a wonderful event.
What do folks need to do in order to take part in that and go check out this great event?
They can visit our website at mannersoftheheart.org and go to the store at Manners of the Heart to buy the individual tickets. They're $75 a ticket. Or if that businesses want to get involved, they can call the office at 383-3235 to be a table sponsor and be highlighted that night as well as in our program.
Thanks so much for coming on and telling us all about it. For the great work you're doing out there, we wish you continued success.
Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Well, you probably know their name from physical therapy here in the greater Baton Rouge area, but you probably don't think of peak performance when it comes to pelvic health. Take a look.
Pelvic floor therapy is something that lots of people don't know about or know that they can get help for. It's a very sensitive subject. People don't really like to talk about it around here, about bladder dysfunction, bowel dysfunction, or any kind of pelvic pain. But it's very common for women, especially after having babies or in the menopausal years. So having a place like this is a very comfortable place for them to come so that they can get treatment for their pelvic muscle dysfunction, and we can really work to eliminate the bladder and bowel symptoms. So at the initial evaluation, we sit and talk where the patient tells me their symptoms, I get a good medical history on the patient, and then I explain to them the function of the pelvic muscles related to their bladder or bowel dysfunction. When we come into the treatment room, we use the biofeedback technology to get a muscle reading. We watch it on the computer screen, the patient watches it with me, we analyze the muscle strength, I show the patient, this is what your strength looks like, this is what we're looking for. We also look at resting pelvic muscle tone, endurance, coordination, and we do this each time the patient comes to therapy. When they go home, they do not have the technology, obviously, but they have homework that they practice, and then once they come back, we check and compare from session to session to make sure that we're giving the right exercises and that we're improving strength from as the weeks go on.
It was a friend of Lacey's, Lauren, and she was my physical therapist. And so we discussed, I was telling her about some issues that I had, and she told me about Lacey. And I said, you know, I'd really like to try that. And she told me a little bit about it, and I had some issues that I thought Lacey would be able to help me with. And consequently, that's exactly what happened. She was able to help me with a lot of things that had been on my mind and I'd been worried about. Because I have frequent things to happen to me and I didn't want to have surgery, in other words. And so throughout this sessions that we've had, it's all worked. It's been very beneficial.
Strengthening is, I would say, only about 50% of what goes on here though. The other 50% is education. I think it's extremely important to educate the patient on how the bladder and how the pelvic muscles work together so that you can use those muscles to retrain and to eliminate the symptoms.
She gives me a lot of information that I can use at home. Everything we go through, she gives me papers that have the instructions for things that I can do at home, the exercises I can do at home, and which is really beneficial to me.
Patients really feel so much better about themselves after coming to therapy. I have lots of patients who will come in and say, I can't go anywhere without going straight to a restroom. And then they'll a few weeks later come back and say, I went to eat dinner and I didn't even have to go to the restroom the whole time I was there. That's huge.
I'm at the end of my sessions now, and everything she got me up to exactly where she wanted me to be, the percentage-wise. And so I'm good to go. I can graduate now. And that's what I'm going to do.
As an occupational therapist, it's a very rewarding feeling to know that you've changed someone's quality of life. And that's really what it's all about. We look at the computer a lot when we're doing our exercises and everyone says, what number do I have to, how strong do I have to be to get rid of my symptoms? And there's no set number. There's no set, if you contract your muscles and squeeze to 20 millivolts, you won't leak anymore. It's different for every single patient. It's specific to each individual. And when people are very dedicated to exercising and to and making the changes that are necessary, they see huge impacts. Their results are amazing, and they tell everybody they know now. They talk about it all the time because they feel like everybody needs to know about this place, and you've got to come to therapy. It helped me so much. For more information, you can look us up at peakphysicaltherapy.com or call us at 225-292-2526. The Peak Pelvic Floor Clinic is located on Jefferson Highway in between Bluebonnet and Airline. I really thought that this Bluebonnet Jefferson area was a great place to be to accommodate patients coming from all parts of Baton Rouge. If you come and see us at the Peak Pelvic Floor Clinic, I promise to help improve your quality of life, make you feel comfortable, and help get your life back.
When we come back on Across Louisiana, find out about the latest and the greatest happenings at the Southern University Law Center. Don't miss it.